out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sim Racing Media. We are live here with the Western States Racing League at Darlington, the granddaddy of super speedways, the lady in black, the egg-shaped oval, whatever you want to call it. We're calling it home for tonight's show. I'm Liam Irving with Chris Murphy up in the booth. Chris, how are you doing tonight?
Fantastically, I'm ready for a good show here at Darlington. We had a great show last week at Daytona. Let's see if these guys can back it up with two fantastic races.
Yeah, you mentioned last week, Chris Samard gets his first win on the season. Gonna look to see. Not sure if he has made it for this one here today. We'll keep an eye on the entry list as we move forward. But Chris Samard gets his first win on the season last week in a thriller in Daytona, which saw a long portion of green flag racing. Those guys did phenomenal, keeping it clean, getting some separation in the packs, and we really saw a masterclass out front. But this week is a completely different animal, Chris. We've got two completely different ends of this racetrack. We've got two completely different ways of attacking corners, two different straightaways. And not only that, but one of the most difficult pit roads to get into in terms of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I ran a few laps last night on this, and I was absolutely horrible. I'm glad I'm not racing tonight, and I'm sitting in the booth instead with you. But, you know, the one thing here with Darlington, the toughest thing about this is when you get down in the corner, the track looks so much wider than it really is. I mean, right here we're watching David Weaver make his qualifying laps, and you can see him running up towards the top. You think you can go down on the bottom, like where he's at right there, and the track just flattens out. So you really narrow lineup on the top, and whoever can run closest to the fence, I think, is going to have a big advantage here tonight.
Yeah, I think you were absolutely right. These guys are going to be right up next to the fence. But another thing to worry about is going to be tires here. I mean, we're guessing about 60 to 65 laps on fuel, which puts you to 2 required stops for fuel. But are the tires going to fall off enough as to where potentially an extra pit stop could get you to the finish line quicker than everyone else?
Yeah, I was looking to pull up the weather here real quick to see what the track. We're looking at 120-degree track temperature right now. Darlington's pretty tough on tires as it is, and that tire temperature, right, the track temperature right there is just going to make it even more difficult for these drivers to keep the tires underneath them, not wear them out too fast. You know, we see some of these guys that just seem to be better on the longer runs. You know, and and I think, if you look at guys like Wayne Hutchison and Brian Barnes and those guys, they seem to do a lot better on these tracks that are really hard on the tires on a long run. So we'll see what they can find here tonight. We're partway through qualifying here right now. We've got about 6 minutes left. Bentley Glazier right now finds himself up on the pole with a 30.16. Wayne Hutchison right there behind him. And Dalton Elkins, I don't think I've seen that name all season, finds himself right now third in qualifying right now here at Darlington for the WSRL.
Yeah, good run there for the rookie here. And gotta say, Darlington is, well, I said it's completely different from Daytona. It is pretty similar on the level of the prestige that comes with a win here at Darlington. And I don't like to sit and toot my own horn. I'm not somebody who is well, actually I do. But I'm not somebody who has been super successful in league competition, but Darlington is the site of one of my most coveted wins in all of league competition, and it didn't matter who I was racing against. Just feeling like I was able to race the track and beat the track that day was one of my biggest positive feelings, and I would imagine somebody's going to be feeling that today, Chris.
If you can pull off a win here, I'm sorry I wasn't there to see that win back in the day. I'm hoping there was more than just a couple of trucks that finished, but anytime you can win a race, any league race in iRacing, but if you can win here at Darlington, it's just another special, because it's just such a tough track to get around on, and especially to pass on. So if any of you guys can find their way from the middle to the back of the pack up to the front, it's just they got to be happy with this. It's going to be an impressive run.
Definitely. We take a look at Bob Beltrami here in the narrower end of the speedway, turns 3 and 4, a different radius to the corners than turns 1 and 2. Bob Beltrami is going to finish his first lap, and that's going to jump him up to second place. We'll see if he can improve on lap number 2. He's going to get up into the wall, therefore nullifying his lap. So far, Bob Beltrami sits P2. We've still got just under 5 minutes to go and 10 drivers yet to put down a lap. Julian Ritchie, however, is taking the green flag right now.
We'll see what kind of lap Ritchie can put down. He's been pretty consistent, finishing in the top 5 last week. He's been really good on the super speedways. Let's see what he can do here at Darlington. Let's see if he can get out here and get himself up towards the front. Oh, a little looser off the corner. And he's going to lose it. Overcorrects it. Tries to chase the truck around. Overcorrects. Catches the wall. That is really going to... I think that's going to kill his lap right here. He might have to pull that in and come out and try it one more time. I don't see him continuing on at this point.
Just that reminder that with iRacing, I think it was about a year ago or a year and a half maybe, they updated it. So if you were to get an X in qualifying, whether that be a 0X wall contact or, a 1X off track, that will invalidate your lap time. So that wall contact for Ricci invalidated his first lap time. So if he's able to keep it off of the fence this second time around, he will be able to put down a time. Brian Barnes right up next to the fence through turns 1 and 2. The quick end of the speedway, running about 158 on average through that corner, and then we slow all the way down this side of the racetrack to about 134 on fresh tires. We'll keep an eye on how much that changes. Here comes Brian Barnes coming up off of turn number 4. We'll see what he can do with his first lap. Gonna go to P5.
Nice lap from Brian.
Chad Stearns. He jumped up to P2 while we're talking about that.
Yeah, we watched Ricci also finish his lap, his second lap, not where he wanted to be at right now, sitting in 10th with about 8 drivers left to go out. Chad Stearns has been really consistent here of late. He had some trouble last week at Daytona, But if Chad starts up in this top 4, top 5, he is going to be a contender all night long. Plus, he's got my number. He's got the 05 truck. That's my number. So I got to root for Chad a little bit. Oh, Brian Barnes comes back on his second lap, takes that second spot away from Chad Stearns with a 30.30, only 0.14 of a second off the pace of Bentley Glazier. And let's see if Chad Stearns can do anything on. Oh, he's parked it, so he doesn't have another. He's already both of his laps done already. So who else do we have left
he
to
said
go
one's
out?
enough. Jacob Jensen, 2-time race winner this year, is getting out, coming out of the pit lane, going into turn 3 and 4 to start his qualifying run. And while I do just want to say I'm grateful for the WSRL drivers for unintentionally staggering their qualifying runs to give us some good qualifying coverage. But Jacob Jensen, a driver who's won 2 races this year, he got it done in Iowa and he got it done in Watkins Glen. He's going to try to go for his 3rd on the season, right up next to the fence. Just under 2 minutes to go in qualifying, and none of the next 7 drivers have really even shown interest in getting out on the racetrack. They might just be willing to start at the back.
And I'm looking at the names that are out there left to go out. I don't really see anybody that has been consistent that might challenge Bentley Glazier for that top spot. I think of all the drivers that are left, Jacob Jensen has the best shot of doing it. And right there, only 0.07 of a second off of Bentley Glazier, jumps up into that second spot. Let's see what he can do here on his second lap.
Yeah, you guys saw on the left that timing tower. Jacob Jensen shoots up almost all the way to the top. Can lap number 2 be quicker? We saw it quicker out of the 15. One more corner to go. A little bit squirrely, but just a touch of correction. Not a lot of momentum loss. He's going to cross the start-finish line. And that's going to be good enough for pole with a 30-13. Just under a minute remaining in qualifying and nobody else on the racetrack. Well, just as I say that, Dustin Burns and Andrew Schulte trying to sneak into the event with no fanfare. The former champion getting ready to rock and rumble here at Darlington. We'll see if these drivers are going to be able to complete a lap within the last 30 seconds of qualifying. Usually there's a 15-second or so kind of jump over.
Yeah, I think they're going to miss out, so I think that's going to be our lineup right there. I don't see anybody else. I'm really surprised so many trucks decided not to qualify. Drivers like Wayne Fleet, James Campbell, Daryl Scott. You usually see those guys running up towards the front, and I'm surprised they didn't jump out and get a lap. So, plus, I like Wayne Fleet with that Mark Martin throwback Winn-Dixie car, or truck, sorry. But so we got 6 seconds left, so I don't think Dustin Burns is going to get this lap in, or either is Andrew Schulte, but maybe just go out and scuffing some tires in. I don't know.
And that is it. They're not going to be able to get a lap in, so that's going to put Jacob Jensen on the pole for Darlington. I believe that's his 3rd pole of the season. Going for his 3rd win on the season. So with Jacob Jensen starting in first, we've got Bentley Glazier to his outside of row number 1. Then Brian Barnes and Chad Stearns make up row number 2. Chad, a 2-time winner on the season as well. Bob Beltrami looking for his first win on the season, along with Wayne Hutchison to his outside. Dalton Elkins making his first start on the season with David Weaver to his outside, one of his better qualifying runs this season. John Kenyon for FSR Motorsports in 9th place, and Earl Weaver just behind David, making potentially some double trouble with that family on the outside.
Back in 11th spot is going to be Julian Ricci. Not a great qualifying effort for Julian, as we saw him lose that first lap. Scott Kukas with a brand new paint scheme on that 242 truck this weekend. We'll see if Scott can make his way towards the front. Andrew Schulte is going to start in 13th. Outside of the 7th row is going to be Daryl Scott in the 14th spot. Back in 15th in the 98 truck, Barry Phil with James Campbell up on the outside in that 16th starting position. Back in 17th is going to be Wayne Fleet with Dustin Burns. Back in the 10th row, Chad Simpson and Ron Holyfield. And rounding out the field, starting 21st, is going to be Vincent Price.
And I'll just jump in and do a quick clarification. I believe Chad Simpson is going to be on race control tonight. So while he does technically have a starting spot, you can probably anticipate that if Vincent Price shows up, he is going to assume that 19th position. Shout out to Chad for race control. We appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the race info, some of the track info for the day, Chris.
Yeah, Darlington, it's pretty, like we talked earlier, the track 1.3 mile track, kind of a paper clip, but different corners on each end. Tough to navigate around, as you can see there by the graphic. Track temperature at 119 degrees right now. That is going to be tough. 81 degrees outside air temperature. Partly cloudy, so we don't have any chance of rain, but a little bit of wind. Does this show me the wind direction? I don't know if it does or not, but 12 mile an hour wind might be enough of a headwind down one of the straightaways, whichever way the wind is blowing, to affect the truck going, because these trucks are like driving a block of, so wind will have an effect on them. So we'll see how this plays out through the night.
Yeah, and of course you mentioned the 119 degree track temperature. In sim time, this race is happening just after 2 p.m. So do not expect any respite from that track temp throughout the course of the race. We might get a little cloud cover to drop it down a degree or two, but it's gonna be something for these guys to try to manage these tires. So we look towards the back. Chad Simpson, obviously, we mentioned he's in race control. Ron Holyfield and Vincent Price did not make the start of did not at least make the grid. So that leaves us with 18 ready to rock and rumble here in Darlington.
We're heading down the back straightaway. Lights out on the pace truck. Excuse me, heading into turn one. I better look up and see where the hell I'm at. So lights are out on the pace
you
truck.
were right. Pace car makes that hard left turn, just barely makes it to the cone, reminiscent of Phoenix last year in the Cup Series. Jacob Jensen and Bentley Glazer gonna lead them down. The Lady in Black looking to claim its next victims. Green flag is in the air for 147 laps in the Western States Racing League.
And Jacob Jensen with a good start. We see that every time Jacob's up towards the front. He's usually really good on his restarts, but he's loosening one.
Oh, big sideways.
We are seeing a lot of trucks looser. Brian Barnes a little bit looser. Jensen as well. Nice job of collecting those. And now we got Bentley Glazer taking advantage of Jensen's mistakes. Going to drive down to the bottom. And Bentley Glazer now down on the inside going into turn number 3 with Chad Stearns right there behind him. Going to try to follow Glazer past Jacob Jensen.
Andrew Schulte goes around down the back straightaway. He's going to recover it and continue. No caution. Bentley Glazer leads the first lap over Jacob Jensen, and Chad Stearns just behind in third. Meanwhile, a huge separation back to fourth place. Wayne Hutchison, after we saw Brian Barnes get sideways there on the first lap, that definitely created some separation.
Yeah, surprised to see that gap between third and fourth right now this early in the race. But like you said, Brian Barnes getting a little bit loose, kind of slowed everybody up behind. Everybody had to check up. Let's go back and take a quick look at what happened to Andrew Schulte. As we come here, he's just driving around the bottom. Oh, just you see that transition. So he's down there, like we talked earlier. He's down there on that flat part of the racetrack. He tries to come up onto the banking, and it just upsets the car and turns him around. So I'm not sure why he was driving down on the apron there. Maybe lost it trying to get out of the way. But you can see how that transition.
Maybe he was just trying to send it all the way on the bottom and hope that
maybe.
Some of the tomfoolery he saw in front of him with all the sideways trucks was going to result in a caution. He could potentially gain those spots. But yeah, you saw him hit that transition, really upset the truck, sent him sideways. Not a lot of contact to the inside wall. He's able to keep driving and continue on, but definitely not the way he wanted to start this race. As now we take a look at the number 4 truck. You used to see Brian Barnes in that. Brian is just in front of him in the 15. Dalton Elkins making his season debut and quite possibly his series debut. I'll have to double check on that.
Yeah, the Bass Pro Tracker Chevrolet. Dalton Elkins looking pretty solid right now. If it's the first time here this season, running 6th right now. Let's see if he can stay with this group. A lot of good drivers here in the WRSRL. If he can hang up there with this top 10, it would be a really good day for Dalton.
It really would be. He's sitting in the 6th position right now. He's got Bob Beltrami just behind him. Right now we take a look at Barry Phil working his way through turn 2. You see a little bit of a sideways moment out of Darrell Scott just in front of him. He's able to continue on, but expect to see that more. We're only on lap 5, and we're already starting to see these guys slip and slide. Obviously, cold tires at the beginning of the race can be a factor for slipping and sliding. But when you get sideways early in the race on cold tires, it sets you up for a world of hurt if you extend into a long run.
Yeah, taking a look here at Bob Beltrami. Bob, one of the veterans in the league, been around since, 25 plus years here with the WSRL. Looking really good right here. Trying to chase down Dalton Elkins. Oh, we got a blinker. So Dalton Elkins kind of blinking in and out right there. That's One of the downsides to internet racing sometimes, you get those trucks a little bit disconnection, a little bit poor internet speed, you get some bad net code, and then you can see him blinking out. And I feel for Bob following that truck around. It's pretty tough when you get behind somebody that's blinking in and out like that.
Yeah, it's tough to pass what you can't see, and you never want to, have them disappear and then they show back up. Caution is out here for the first time today. Scott Kukas has entered the pit lane.
I'm not sure what happened.
I'm not.
Let's go back and we'll take a look at Scott and see if maybe he got into the wall here or something. It looks like he's got some damage on the right front of that truck, so let's see if we can figure out what's going on. If my camera
might have something to do with Daryl Scott and Earl Weaver, actually.
Think so. I said, well, there's a bunch. It looks like that right front of Kukas is dipped down.
Yeah, he made some right front contact at some point. He's already slow there.
Let's take a look at Earl Weaver here.
I heard. Oh yeah, there he is.
Is that?
That's Daryl Scott up on the outside.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was Scott or if that was Dalton. Yeah,
Scott just got a little bit loose coming up off of turn 2, hooks into the 46, and they both get the outside wall. I'm not sure how much damage either one of them has. Looks like a relatively...
The girl's just going to drive home backwards there. There we go.
Relatively harmless. Obviously, some of these guys are going to have to take a set of tires early on.
Yeah,
I believe we've only got 3 extra compared to, or in addition to what we started the race with, so...
Yeah, more bad luck there for Earl Weaver. Had some bad luck last couple of races as well. Ended up a few laps down last week. But let's see if he can recover from this. So we're, 14 trucks still on the way up. We got down in the pits. Andrew Schulte, Dustin Burns, Earl Weaver, and Scott Kukas now all in the pits getting repairs. It looks like it's going to be a lengthy repair for Scott Kukas if he makes it back out. He's already been in the pits for a couple minutes as it is.
Well, Chris, that's also a really good break for Andrew Schulte there. Obviously, that spin on the first lap sent him 10 seconds at least behind the leader. Now he gets a chance to go into the pits, get some fresh tires, kind of re-rack, restack, and, well, granted, it's only 8 laps fresher tires, but he's still going to have a little bit of an advantage to try to cut himself through the field.
And this gives me a chance to take a nice close look at the Wayne Fleet. That Wayne Fleet's number 6 Winn-Dixie forward here. Nice, like I said earlier, nice throwback to Mark Martin's Grand National car that he won so many races with. So every time I can, every opportunity I can, I try to get Wayne some screen time here.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Mark Martin, he was, as looks like we're getting ready to double up, he was the winningest Xfinity Busch Series, if you want to call it O'Reilly now, you can. But he was the winningest driver until just a few years ago when Kyle Busch took that record. But I tell you what, man, Mark could have had one more win in that truck, couldn't he?
Oh, definitely. You know, and I usually call it Grand National because that's how old I am. So it was Grand National racing back in my day. We are coming down into turn 3. Lights are out on the pace truck. Bentley Glazer going to lead him to the green. Watch for Jacob Jensen to get a good start on the outside. Jacob's really good on his restarts, like we said earlier, but he's also been pretty loose on these starts off the corner. So let's see what kind of lead Bentley can get coming to the green flag.
This time it's the same front row in a different order into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air and Glazer gets away strong. Some tire spinning here even after just 10 laps on these tires. That's going to cause most of these guys to be able to get inside single file. Chad Stearns on the inside of Jensen, not able to complete that, but now Jensen's coming up off a 2 with a run. Is he going to be able to look to the inside of Glazer? He does.
Great run from Jensen off the corner right there, and he's going to take that preferred line out on the bottom. Let's see if he can slide up in front of Glazer. Not quite able to make it. I think we're going to see Glazer get a run off the outside corner as I say that, and I'm completely wrong, and Jensen slides up in front. Jensen now to the point.
He put the power down on the bottom in the middle of the corner, and you can see that just split second where Bentley had to lift and Jacob decided not to, and that was the decider coming up off of turn number 4. It's tough to make these passes. It's not going to be as tough as we saw at, say, Iowa a couple weeks ago, but it's definitely going to be tough with how narrow this racetrack is. Jacob Jensen taking advantage of this restart and is able to get himself out into the lead. Can he keep it? Can he extend it? Only one way to find out.
Yeah, top 10 trucks all single filed out. We're looking back here to Bob Beltrami up on the outside of Wayne Fleet, trying to get that 10th spot away, or excuse me, 11th position away. Not able to do it. Tucks back in behind. They got Barry Phillip. That's a really good run going for Barry right now. As he gets a little loose off the corner, Wayne Fleet kind of follows him.
Daryl Scott into the wall as well.
Almost like there was some oil on the racetrack right there. We saw 3 trucks in a row get loose off the corner. Daryl Scott's going to park it down in the infield. I think he's going to try to get into the pits and do a quick repair. Jumps into the pits right there, so we'll jump back towards the front.
Wow, these guys don't have a quick repair. He might quite possibly be calling it there, which he wouldn't be the first one. Scott Kukas is out of the race as of lap 4. Technically, he's still being shown as in the pits with that right front damage, but
John Kenyon and Andrew Schulte.
Yeah, Schulte trying to get to the inside of Kenyon. He restarted in 15th. He's all the way up to 8th, or trying to take away 8th. Gonna slot in line behind that 88. That's kind of a, I don't want to say Michael Annette looking truck, but the TMC, that was a Junior Motorsports Xfinity ride, wasn't that?
You would know better than I would. I haven't been keeping up enough on it to even say, but
That TMC machine gets up into the wall just a little bit. That allows Schulte to get in front for 8th place. And now he sees that top 7 in line just in front of him. Andrew Schulte, a former champion in this series, just about a year ago, 2 seasons ago, I believe, able to get it done. And now he's looking to keep that momentum going. He had a strong showing a few weeks ago in Watkins Glen when he raced. He's looking to try to get back to victory lane in a season that doesn't seem to be a full-time effort from him.
he seems to be, if you eyeball test right here, he is making up some ground on Dalton Elkins right there in front of him pretty quickly. So let's see if Schulte can make his way to the point. We'll look up here at Elkins and at Bass Pro Tracker number 4. Excuse me for the yawn. It's what happens when you get up at 5 in the morning.
Just before we move on, you were riding on board with that 81 truck going through 3 and 4, and one thing that I noticed was just how smooth his steering wheel input was. He wasn't sawing on the wheel trying to correct it. He's just riding a nice, clean, smooth bottom, make whatever joke you want, and doing good on his tires. You don't hear a whole heck of a lot of slide. You don't see him jerking the wheel one way or the other. Seems like Schulte's got something going for him at this early part of the race. A little bit of a correction there. Going to get right up next to the fence, let out of the gas, get back down to the bottom. Touch of a correction there coming up off of 2. That got him a little loose, but still closing in just ever so much on that 4 in front of him.
We got somebody down on the infield there. I didn't quite see who it was. We'll jump up here to James, battle here with James Campbell and David Weaver. It's not David, it's David Weaver here going for fighting for 13th and 14th.
You know, that might have actually been Scott Kukas that you saw on the apron there. He's back out onto the racetrack.
Well, let's get it.
I was incorrect to say that he was out of the race.
Let's get a chance to. I didn't get a chance earlier to show off this new paint scheme from Scott Kukas. Peace and love right here. Little big smiley face there on the back of the truck. Usually, the truck's kind of a little bit of just a turquoise color, so it looks like Scott took some time painting up a new livery for us this week here at Darlington.
Peace and love. You know, we're big fan of peace.
Yes.
A big fan of love over here at Sim Racing Media.
Yeah, Scott's.
But I'm also a big fan of loving Reese's Pieces. So, terrible segue. Sorry.
That was wow. We were talking about off air earlier. We were talking about dad jokes. I think you just put in the first dad joke of the evening on air. Now I'm supposed to be doing the dad jokes.
Yeah. That's okay, though. By the way, appreciate everybody who's tuning in live here on the Sim Racing Media YouTube channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell if you haven't yet. And, of course, if you have a league, we would love to put your show online. So hit us up, find us on Facebook. We've got a link in our description as well. We are always looking to add shows to our weekly schedule. And we're also looking to diversify our portfolio a little bit. We would like some dirt track racing, some road racing. We do a lot of oval stuff, a lot of NASCAR stuff here, but we would love to kind of expand a little bit more. If you guys have anything, a little bit different, let us know. We'd love to show it off.
I've been looking for some dirt shows ever since I got it involved here with SRM back in, I don't know, what was it, March, April, something like that. I spent a lot of years around the dirt tracks. If we can get some dirt late model shows or some modified shows, it'd be a lot of fun. So if you guys got anything out there, we got a diverse group of broadcasters and producers here that we can bring you just about any league you got, we can cover. We got some experience with, so hit us up.
We appreciate you guys tuning in either way, whether you're showing up to watch your favorite driver, whether you're just bored, finding something to watch towards the end of the night, and you found us. We're glad you're here. Bentley Glazer has a rear mirror full of a guy he's probably not glad to be seeing right now, Chad Stearns.
I'm just trying to figure out how bored would you have to be to tune into us right now. I mean, I understand if you're here for your favorite driver, but
I don't know, man. I used to, one of the reasons I got into this business was because I used to watch different crews on YouTube. Late night, you know, you get some iRacing, league racing going on. And I don't remember the exact, I think it was VRN, potentially. So inadvertent shout out to them. Pick us over them, but that's where I got my start in. Just kind of tuning in, you know. I don't remember, I think their guy's name was Jeff Stabnow. He would always jump up in there, and you know, for me, it was a cool way to get into iRacing. It was a cool way to kind of learn the ropes a little bit. As you see, Bob Beltrami gets a run. Both guys here got loose, but Bob Beltrami getting a run on John Kenyon.
Bob looking really strong right here, so we get around John. You know, I catch myself when I'm bored. I just pick up iRacing and I just start watching other races, playing around with the camera, playing around with our software, just kind of trying to improve on, bring everybody the best show we possibly can. So,
well, that's true, but not everybody's able to, not everybody's able to just jump on the game like we are.
This is true.
It's a good opportunity for other people to be able to kind of see what this is all about, see the competition level, see how realistic it is. Not only that, but see what kind of competition comes together in league racing, where you race against the same guys week in and week out versus officials where, I mean, you might see some familiar faces here and there, but with the way that the splits go, you just can't expect any consistency.
Yeah, I've actually shown some of our broadcasts to people, and I actually had to tell them, they think it's a real race. Some of it looks so realistic, so. We jump around here through the field. James Campbell back here with Dustin Burns. Dustin just got around James for that 15th spot. Oh, see a lot of drivers getting loose off the corner here. What was our estimation earlier? 65 on fuel, maybe?
Roughly, yeah.
And Bob Beltrami is entering the pits right now on lap 28.
Green flag pit stop here. He did not come in under that first yellow flag to come in and pit, so he's actually got some right side damage there. It looks like the right front is towed in a little bit.
Sure looks like it.
He got into the wall pretty good.
Yeah, you can see that damage on the right front. I was just going to notice that same thing. Yeah, you can definitely see that right front pointing inwards there. So let's see if he can get this truck repaired and get back out. But it's going to be a lengthy repair. If they've got to get up underneath there and change a tire out or something, it's going to be a while before Bob gets back on the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to have happen here. Just under 30 laps into this race, and with that damage, you've got to believe unscheduled pit stop. Bob's not going to be happy with the way that this day has started. Meanwhile, we look at Dalton Elkins making his series debut in the number 4 Tracker Boats Chevy Silverado. Currently sitting in 8th after starting in 7th. We've seen him as high as the top 5 momentarily, but he hasn't really fallen outside of the top 10 as you see Julian Ritchie with an amazing slide and save down on the inside, and he's going to set himself up for turn 1.
I think we're going to give Dalton the nickname Blinker. Every time I go to him, he blinks in and out. So.
Oh, that's not a good nickname.
That was my
for him,
that was my dad joke of the night. I still got Daryl Scott and Bob Beltrami still in the pit. So Bob was looking to have a good run in the top 10, but it looks like he made some contact with the outside wall. Bob's chances are out now as he's going to be in the pits here for a minute and a half now. I bet he's going to be in there for a couple more minutes with that amount of damage that he had. So we'll jump back up here to the front, take a look at Chad Stearns, still trying to find a way around Bentley. Glazer's been following him now for about the last 10 laps, and we jump over. He's looking at the inside. A little bit different line from these two. Let's see who gets a better run off the corner. It looks like Bentley getting a little bit loose right there, chasing the truck as they come off a 4 down to the start-finish line. That allows Chad Stearns to make a little bit of ground up. Let's see if he can get a run into 1 and 2 down on the bottom. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it.
Chad just a little bit quicker, a couple hundredths quicker that time around. Jensen might have tapped the wall coming up off the 2. But like I said, it's so tough to pass just because this track is so narrow. I mean, you can see the difference in what Chad Stearns and Bentley Glazer were doing. Now it's a little bit different as Chad's going to get himself a run later in the corner. But you could see that last time around, Chad was able to drive in deep, and that's where he gained most of his time. And then Bentley found himself a nice exit. Bentley touches the apron there that time on entry where Chad does not. We'll see if that allows Chad to get down to the bottom. It does, and he's going to almost cut some time out, but he has to let off of the throttle coming up off of 2. That wall jumps out at you, Chris.
Yeah, the track kind of narrows up off of there. At least what the banking is, it kind of forces you out to that outside wall. And it makes it, even if it isn't narrow, it sure feels like it's narrow, and it's really tough to get off of 4. I think that's why you see a lot of guys getting so loose off of 4. They see that wall coming, and they try to correct it, trying to turn the truck down the racetrack, and that makes the truck get a little bit loose on them. And you can see Chad Stearns now into the fence, into the wall. I keep calling it the fence, but into the wall right there, through 1 and 2.
It's all the same. It's all the same. He's almost tearing down the fence, as most of these drivers are, getting right up next to the wall. And Chris, that's another thing. We guessed about 65 laps on fuel. We maybe should have guessed about 65 Darlington stripes for the day. We don't have an official counter, but we have seen plenty so far, and I can't imagine that they're going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, I should have set up a good camera for the outside. See if we can see any Darlington stripes on the truck. We'll look at Chad Stearns right there. As we look back, let's see, Dalton Elkins was closing in the bill, and Julian Ricci here for this 7th spot, but has to settle back a little bit. Field is pretty well spread out. I'm trying to find us a close battle here somewhere. Wayne Hutchison he's about 3 seconds back, just kind of driving around by himself there. James Campbell.
James Campbell.
James Campbell has been fighting that truck all race. That's about the 4th or 5th time we've seen him loose off the corner. And unfortunately, almost right there in front of Wayne Hutchison and Brian Barnes, but James settles down to the bottom. It looks like he's going to stay down on the flat, out of the way. He may be coming down into the pits, or nope, he's just going to kind of get out of everybody's way and let Scott Kukas go around there on the outside as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody hates to get lapped, and you definitely don't want to go out there feeling like an ARCA back marker, but this track is brutal. It does not play favorites, and if you're having a bad day, this track is going to make it much, much worse for you. You've got to stay diligent. You've got to stay on your toes at all times if you want to win here at Darlington.
It's all about rhythm at Darlington. If you can stay in that rhythm, you're going to run some good laps, but just once you get out of that, you make one little mistake, just trying to get yourself back into that groove that you've been running lap after lap can take you a little bit of time to get back to it. But it's such a punishing racetrack if you're just not on your toes the whole way around. Just one little slip, and your day can be done really quick. And I didn't see what happened to Bob Beltrami earlier, but you can see that one contact. He's now been in the pits for over 5 minutes. So it doesn't take much to ruin your day, like you said, here at Darlington.
Yeah, tough start there for Bob. He's, like you said, still in the pits. But it is so easy to make a mistake here. I mean, we've seen it even in the Cup Series. Bubba Wallace hitting the wall at the end of the race for the spring race. That upset a lot of Kyle Larson fans. You had Ross Chastain in the UPS truck getting it a little too hot, wrecking with Truex. You had Chase and Truex doing the same thing. You even go back 20-some years, Jamie McMurray and Todd Bodine wrecking each other across the start-finish line. So easy to make a mistake here, and the closer you get to the end, the more you're going to want to push, the more risky you might be willing to get. So, well, yeah, it does seem relatively calm here, 39 laps in. We've still got 108 laps to go. And a long time for tires to wear, tempers to flare, and, well, all we can do is stare.
Did you write that one down?
No.
It was really good till you tried to do the third rhyme. The first rhyme was really good.
Thank you.
It was the last one. It was kind of fell off there a little bit. But did you mention Ricky Craven and Kyle Busch?
Kurt Busch, Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch.
Yeah,
but
Kurt
the
Busch.
thing is, they didn't crash.
Oh,
Oh, Bentley Glazer
what-
did, though. He's in the inside wall as we're watching him get sideways coming up off of turn number 4. Tries to correct it, gets down into the inside wall. That's going to cost him second place. He's got about a second and a half back to Wayne Hutchison, but it's going to be tough on his tires. And if there's any damage on that 87 machine, which it looks like there's some to the right front, that could be very costly, as he is now over 5-6 seconds back from the race lead, Jacob Jensen.
Now let's see if we can go back there and see what happened. If I can find it on my list here.
While Chris looks for that, we've got Jacob Jensen in the lead, Chad Stearns in second, Bentley Glazer falls back to third after this incident.
Hopefully I don't go back
coming
too
up
far.
off of turn 4.
See if we can fast forward a little bit here. I probably went back too many laps. Oh well. We'll find it another time. Yeah, didn't get it saved in my event log fast enough. So unfortunately, Bentley Glazer with a good run there. Doesn't look like he took a lot of damage though.
Oh, but that time around, he lost about half a second to your race leader, Jacob Jensen, who is putting on a clinic so far. While it's not at all a similar track shape to Iowa, it's definitely a similar track. A similar pavement is what I should say. They're old, abrasive surfaces that tear away at these tires, and Jacob Jensen seems to be showing off that he can handle these types of racetracks fairly well, as he now gets out to about a 2.5 second lead over Chad Stearns. Both of these drivers, 2-time winners on the season, going to be the first to hit number 3, as Scott Kukas hits the wall pretty hard in front of Brian Barnes.
Yeah, we're taking a look at this battle right here. Brian Barnes was behind Wayne Hutchison. We watched a little bit earlier. He kind of pulled over and let Scott Kukas get by him. Scott was on the newer tires, and I think we didn't get a good look at it, but I think he used that advantage as Scott made his way around Wayne Hutchison. I think Brian Barnes just followed right past him, because Brian had been following Wayne for about the last 5 or 6 laps. So a nice move there. So we got Bentley Glazer down in the pits now. Hopefully that's not going to be an extensive amount of damage for him. We are 45 laps in. I wouldn't think this would be for fuel. Do you think so, maybe?
This is in the window to make it from one more stop here. We haven't seen a caution since before lap, I believe lap 8 was when that first and only caution came out.
All right. We had a little bit of technical difficulty there. Our software crashed on us. We should be back to live right now. Back lap 48. We might have only missed a lap or two, so. Looking at Wayne Hutchison right now running in 4th. As we were away, we saw Bentley Glazer and jump down in the pits. It looks like he might be coming out of the pits now. Didn't lose too much time.
Yeah, he's back out on the racetrack. He's going to be about 2 laps down at this point, almost 3. So seems like he stayed in the pits to get some of that damage fixed, maybe anticipating a caution a little bit later. Here comes Weaver up on Fleet, and that was a massive closing distance, or closing rate. Massive distance.
Look at him drive down the hill.
In a short time. Oh, man.
Great run right there.
That's what you're...
Go right ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go right
Wayne
ahead.
Fleet having a little bit of a struggle on these old tires, and that's the kind of advantage that you're going to see when these guys wear out their tires. Now, Wayne Fleet trying to get by Earl Weaver on the inside. Earl was around to bring out that first caution, but he's recovered nicely. Wayne Fleet, though, he's struggling. He is having problems with that truck right now.
Yeah, he is really chasing around this Dalton. Elkins gets around him, and then Dalton drives right into the wall right there. He had a little bit of a lengthy pit stop to it, like 41 seconds. So look at everybody coming in having to have some kind of damage repair here and there. So Dalton, unfortunately, was looking really strong early. Now back to 12th as our leader dives down into the pits. Boy, it was a late dive down there for Jacob Jensen, but he's going to come into the pits right now. Chad Stearns is going to go around for at least one more lap.
Oh no, Chad Stearns missed the pit.
Did he just disconnect?
Did he just? Chad Stearns misses the pit, disappears on the racetrack, and we have no knowledge on what happened. He may have just...
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, he did.
He just quit.
Yeah. So Chad Stearns from second place leaves the race after missing the pit lane. Here comes Brian Barnes, who inherits the lead. He's going to come into pit this time.
So looks like about lap 50. Everybody's starting to dive down the pits. This is going to hand Andrew Schulte the lead. Started back in 13th, now up to the point, up 12 spots. At least a little lap here during the middle of his pit stops.
Remember, Schulte came in on that first caution flag. I'll go back and double check the stats here to see if he did take his tires, but if he did, he only has one more set. So he's got to run this long. He's got to run this.
He only had a 6-second
Almost
stop
to
back there on
about-
lap 8, so I'd be shocked if he
No,
took
no tires then.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
tires. Just quick pull out on the fenders.
Unless he's got an F1 pit crew down there, and that's slow for them.
Well, that'd be too many men over the wall and another penalty. He was already at the back, so who knows? Anyways, Andrew Schulte is your race leader. David Weaver in second. Earl Weaver in third. Jacob Jensen, the first driver on fresh tires, is in fourth place. Just under one lap down, 26 seconds to be exact, behind Andrew Schulte. Wayne Hutchison rounding out the top 5. We see Brian Barnes, John Kenyon, Julian Ritchie, Dustin Burns, and Dalton Elkins rounding out the top 10. Big smack into the wall there for Earl Weaver, just behind this crew. Barry Phil holds on to 11th place. Wayne Fleet comes into the pits from 12th. Chad Stearns, we assume he's not coming back, in 13th place. Bentley Glazer, well, I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back either. He is currently on lap 44, no movement. Scott Kukas and Bob Beltrami still on the racetrack in 15th and 16th, while James Campbell and Darrell Scott are officially out of the race in 17th and 18th place. Anticipate Scott Kukas and Bob Beltrami to get around Chad Stearns and Bentley Glazer within the next couple of laps here.
David Weaver off the
Then we
pace
will
here in
have-
the 16 truck.
Yeah, Earl has caught him by a ton of time here in this last lap.
Yeah, they're right now running
Not sure
second
if
and
it was-
third, having pitted way back on lap number 8.
Did these guys take tires?
Does not appear so. It looks like fuel only stops from what I can see. So let's see. Once these cycles, so top 3 right now have not pitted. Andrew Schulte, David Weaver, Earl Weaver, all out there, pitted way back on lap number 8. They're going to have to come in here pretty soon. I'm guessing within the next couple of laps. That's going to hand the lead back to Jacob Jensen. Wayne Hutchison right there unlapping himself around Andrew Schulte. Wayne Hutchison right now going to find himself in second as we cycle through the pit stops. Brian Barnes now trying to get around Andrew Schulte to unlap himself here as well. I think Andrew's trying to get down in the pits, but everybody keeps passing him on the bottom. He can't get down there.
I'm not sure what he's got going on. He might be doing that Brad Keselowski, Paul Wolf style strategy where they just stay out, hope there's a caution late. He does have the fuel to make it to about halfway.
He was dirt tracking around that corner right there. We'll see what he's got. Any tires left? I think he's
coming
diving
in.
down. Yeah, there
He's
you go.
coming in.
I think
All
he's
the way
having
down
a-
to the bottom.
Sideways.
Sideways on entry. Keep her straight, bud.
Well, we don't have any dirt race coverage here at SRM, but we got some dirt tracking here from Andrew Schulte as he gets it
These guys
loaded
are
up
trying to
finally.
give you a show what we could show off. Schulte comes into the pits here. Jacob Jensen going to assume the race lead, and he has got himself about 2.5 seconds over David Weaver and Earl Weaver, who have not pitted since lap number 8. If you want to find his next in competition in terms of pit strategy, it's Wayne Hutchison all the way back 13 seconds. And another thing I want to bring up here,
Yes.
these guys are looking at about 3 seconds of fall off. Before they come into the pits, they're about 33.10 to 33.5. Fastest laps from these guys are anywhere between a 30.40 and a 31.10. So 2.5 to 3 seconds of fall off at the end of a run. There's a reason these guys are all coming in and making it a 2-stop versus trying to stretch it and making it a 1-stop after that first caution.
Yeah, you can see right there last lap times up there on the scroller. Jacob Jensen about 3 seconds quicker on that last lap of that second place trucker Earl Weaver. David Weaver dived down into the pits. That's going to hand Wayne Hutchison in the third position. But Wayne is about 14 seconds back off the leader. So Jensen right now with a huge lead, even over the trucks that are pitting at the same time he is. Wayne Hutchison came in about a lap early. Brian Barnes a lap later. So Jensen now finds himself way out in front. His two earlier competitors with Glazier and Chad Stearns both having problems. Find themselves way back off the pace now. Looks like they're both out of the race, actually. So Glazier and Stearns, we're down to, what do we start with?
I believe 18 took the green flag. We are
down to 15.
To 15 or 14.
I
Bentley
think
Glazier. James Campbell's back out on the racetrack. I thought he was out of the race. It looked like he left, but he's actually still out on the racetrack. Bob Beltrami in the Ford truck.
Back in the pits again.
Dalton Elkins, both in the pits. Oh, and we've got some debris from
That's
Andrew
some Schulte.
Schulte.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened.
Oh,
there.
he's hard into the wall. He's got a right front issue.
That might be the end of Andrew Schulte's day. Let's see if I can go back and figure out what happened here. So Schulte
on these fresh, colder tires, you know he's going to be gunning it. Just a lap down. He sees the leader in front of him.
Looks like it's right there somewhere. So my event log is not giving me anything here to really go back to. So I'm having to try to figure this out. So we'll get here with Schulte. See what he does right
Cut
here.
it back one lap. See what happens. Oh, yeah, here it is coming up off of 2.
Yeah, he's already had damage at this point going down the back straightaway. You can see something flapping on the right front. He's back into the wall here again.
Go to your lap counter and just cut that back 1.
I don't even know where that is on my control board. I hate to have to admit
fair
that,
enough.
but we'll just go live with it. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. So you talk for a little bit while I figure that one out.
Yeah, Andrew Schulte got up into the wall coming up off of turn number 2. That cost him a ton of time, bunch of damage. He's in the pits, and we saw him as he got up into turns 3 and 4 that next time around. Just no turn in the car. And now here we are with a long, long green flag run here at Darlington. Jacob Jensen leads the race by 15 seconds. Brian Barnes is right behind Wayne Hutchison, trying to take away second place. But they are half a lap down to your race leader, and we're not quite halfway yet. 4 drivers on the lead lap. 5 drivers, rather. It's Jacob Jensen, Wayne Hutchison, Brian Barnes, John Kenyon, and Julian Ritchie. Justin Burns is 1 lap down to your race leader. And David Weaver is as well, along with Barry Phil, Earl Weaver, and Wayne Fleet, rounding out your top 10. This battle for second, though, continues to heat up. Little bit of a run for Brian Barnes. Not enough to get down to the inside of Wayne Fleet, but the closer he gets, the more in the mirror, the bigger in the mirror he's going to be for that 17. He could quite possibly force him into a mistake. These guys have an equal run coming up off of turn number 4 with just about a car length in between them. Barnes is going to get off of the gas a little bit sooner, try to change his entry for a better exit. It's not going to work as he stays right in the tire tracks of that 17. That's not going to do too well for the aero. We talk about aero tight with the Cup cars and all the underbody downforce. It's not quite as bad as these trucks, but you do have to think about the fact that these are bricks in the air, which is what Chris had brought up earlier. They punch a big hole in the air, and you lack that downforce when you're in the tire tracks of somebody. Couple of car lengths difference now. It's about 3-4 car lengths between second and third. Brian Barnes trying to find a different way to close that gap back up. But for right now, Wayne Hutchison is going to be able to feel comfortable. Chad Stearns has left the race. Dalton Elkins in the 4 truck has left the race as well. So Darrell Scott, Chad Stearns, Dalton Elkins have left the race. Andrew Schulte still in the pits with damage. I believe Bob Beltrami
We're down to 10.
also in the pits with damage still. Bentley Glazier is back out on the racetrack. No, sorry. No, he's not. Bentley Glazier's out of the race.
So we're down to 10 trucks left on the racetrack. Andrew Schulte in the pits right now. So Wayne Fleet rounds out the top 10. This Only 69 laps into this race. Quite the attrition here at Darlington. And it, it didn't really, it pretty much looked like just about everything we saw was self-inflicted. I've not seen anybody really getting into each other. It looks like everybody just kind of making a mistake, getting into the wall. I'm sure there was probably something happened that we missed here or there, but
Yeah, I mean, the only exception I can think of is that first and only caution that we saw, where we saw Daryl Scott get a little loose coming up off the 2, hook into Weaver, and they both spun down the back straightaway. But other than that, yeah, it's been Darlington stripes. It's been getting into the gas too soon. It's smacking the wall. It's a tough track. And I mean, they sit here and talk about, don't race the drivers, race the track. This is what they're talking about. We can't harp on it enough, how easy it is to make a mistake here, and how well you can do just by having a mistake-free day.
yeah, it's just really surprised we've had this many guys out of this early. But we've talked all day long, just how mental this track is. Just one little mistake and is going to ruin your day. And we started with 18 trucks. We're down to 10. We're about halfway through this, so the bosses like us to get a little break in, take a commercial, pay some bills. So we're going to do that right now. So it's Chris Murphy and Liam Erbig here with Western States Racing League, week number 8, season 53 here at Darlington. So we're going to jump away for just a minute. We will be right back.
Back live here at Darlington, the race for second still strong. Wayne Hutchison trying to hold off that 15 just behind him. Chris, I tell you what, we were watching this during the break. It just seems like a chess match, man. It seems like Brian's able to get close, but he can't quite find the opportunity to make the move.
No, he
Looks
keeps
down,
taking,
but
yeah,
a little sideways.
keeps taking a look to the inside down there. Gets a little bit of a, you can see where Wayne Hutchison's going into the corner up on the outside, kind of driving the truck off the corner, giving himself a good run off the corner. Like I said, Brian Barnes is diving into the bottom. He gets a good run down the front straightaway here. See if he can get a run down into the corner. Just a little bit different lines. You can see Brian entering just a little bit more on the bottom, letting the car kind of drift up in the center. In dirt racing, we call a slider line, but just not able to gain enough momentum.
While we stay on the dirt racing topic, these guys, generally where you want to be is on the cushion. Cut that apex down a little bit towards the end so you can get a straighter exit. But these guys are going to be right up next to the fence, especially as these tires wear down and these drivers up front are running 2 seconds a lap slower than what they were in their fastest laps. Here comes Brian down to the inside. A little bit loose for Wayne. Almost opened the door for Brian, but he gets that run coming up off of corner number 2. Wayne Hutchison holds on to second. Barnes going to fall in behind him once again. Now 2 car lengths separating them into turns 3 and 4. And while this all happens, no need to look up front. Jacob Jensen has 20 seconds on these guys as he continues to show that these abrasive type racetracks are really his bread and butter.
Yeah, Brian with a big lead right here. Just being the most consistent on the racetrack. We haven't seen him really having any trouble whatsoever. Hasn't made any contact with anything. Looks good off the corners, not really spinning the tires, not getting loose, and it's just lap after lap, just stretching that lead out. So we'll jump over and give Jacob a little bit of screen time here and there, but we're going to try to find some battle on the racetrack. And right now that battle's for second and third with Wayne Hutchison and Brian Barnes. Brian's got a good run here down the front straightaway off of 4. He's going to look to the inside down into 1. Let's see if he can clear Hutchison. He gets a great run down there. A nice slide job there from Brian
Hutchison
Barnes.
Said, all right, man, you've been this close for this long. I'll let you go. We let him go into turn 1. There's already a distance between them, but let's look and see if Brian Barnes can put down lap times comparable to your race leader. Now that he doesn't have any traffic in front of him. I know we're just past halfway.
Let's go back and take a look at that here real quick. As my camera went to the wrong thing here.
It's a very good look at the fans.
Thank you very much. So here's Brian Barnes looking to the inside, and I think you're right 100% there. Wayne saw him coming and just backed off and let him have it. But Brian had been working.
Not only did he see him coming, but he also saw what happened between Chase and Truex and Ross and Truex.
But Truex was the common denominator in that, though.
Yeah, but I think one time Truex did the sending and the other time he got sent on.
Oh, okay.
I know Ross sent it on Truex. I don't remember if Chase sent it on Truex or if Truex sent it on Chase. But either way, getting up into turn 1, trying to play a game of chicken is a really, really tough game here at Darlington. Good choice by Wayne Hutchison to just relinquish that position for now. He knows he's got a quick truck. He knows he's going to make another pit stop here. Got another chance to overtake him here at about 15 or so laps, which we anticipate the final stops coming from your lead lap drivers. Speaking of lead lap drivers, only 4 of them. Jacob Jensen holds on to the lead. Brian Barnes in second. Oh, whoa, we got a moment there as Kenyon gets into the wall and Scott Kugas tries to take evasive action. But yeah, only 3 drivers are on the lead lap right now. Jacob Jensen has 20 seconds over Brian Barnes, and Wayne Hutchison not too far behind, just about a second behind second place. Those are the only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Chris, do you think it's possible that Jacob Jensen could lap the whole field?
Lap time's about 30 seconds. He's 20 seconds out there in front right now, like you said. I think Brian Barnes is going to keep that gap within about 20 seconds here. But it is possible here on this late stop if he can get a little bit better pit. We got to do at least 1 more pit stop before this is over with, so that's going to see how that shakes things out. But it's definitely possible Jensen could lap the field here. A little battle here going on with Barnes and Hutchison. We're down to 12. We got 12 cars left on the race. Oh, Beltrami made his way back out, so 13 trucks out of the 18 out of this race so far.
Dalton Elkins, Chad Stearns, and Bentley Glazer have left the building. Andrew Schulte and Daryl Scott, they still have meatballs from the race control, so they are still getting required repairs done. They have not retired from the event thus far. However, Jacob Jensen's going to keep clicking away lap times and hope that he gets this race done before those guys can get back out.
I want to give John Kenyon
Not for any reason other than personal pride, but
they're down there taking a nap while the crews are working on the cars.
Oh, he's not napping. He's sitting in that car angry if they're repairing it still. He's like, especially Andrew Schulte. That's a strong truck. Got up into the wall, broke the right front, and wasn't able to turn.
As someone who has sat in the race car waiting for the crew to make some kind of repair so you can get back out there, usually on the dirt track, it was just trying to get a tire changed. I may or may not have slammed my hand on the deck of the car, yelling hurry up" a few times, maybe even screaming a couple of times. So I can understand probably where they're coming from. So,
Dude, I've done that in traffic jams of 169. Don't feel too bad.
I'll give John Kenyon a little bit of screen time here. Let's get a zoomed in view of John. So right now running 5th. This might be, if John can stay in the top 5 right here, this might be his best run of the season. By my memories, he goes around the outside of that lap truck at 242 of Scott Kukas, the Peace and Love car. John Kenyon had a little bit of trouble early, got in the wall in that TMC truck, but now sitting there in 5th, and he's about 10 seconds behind Julian Reaches. So right now, all of our leaders separated out by about 10 to 20 seconds, except for Wayne Hutchison here. He is just a couple seconds here behind Brian Barnes, but Brian's starting to put a little separation between the two.
Now, I don't want to get too excited over anything. We're 60 laps to go in this race, just under. But Brian Barnes, the last couple of times around, has been quicker or equal to the 64. Obviously, don't expect him to gain 20 seconds and 55 laps, but should the caution come out later on, Brian Barnes might have himself a shot at getting around that 64. We saw how Jacob was able to make the move on Bentley Glazer on that first restart of the race. Maybe Brian can find himself in the same spot. That's, of course, assuming there's a caution, which, well, is not impossible. With only 3 drivers on the lead lap, 3 drivers that are 1 lap down, the distance between the trucks leads me to believe that there's not a lot to race for side by side. There's not a lot of battles for position. Might be some battles for pride you don't want to get past, but in terms of position on the racetrack, most of these guys should kind of just have their heads down and be thinking, all right, we are 50 laps away from the end of this thing. Let's just make it to the end and see what we can do with this.
I would bring up the lap history. You can see down here on the bottom of the screen between Barnes and Jensen. Jensen has been faster. Barnes has been faster the last couple of laps, almost 2.5 tenths of a second faster on lap number 92. And again, so 3 laps in a row now, Barnes has been quicker. He's cut that gap down under 20 seconds to about 19.8 seconds. If we're looking here at Brian Barnes, he's got a long time left. Like you said, about 52 laps left to go right now. So he's got a lot of time to reel Jensen in. And we got at least one more pit stop.
His best bet is hoping that Jensen's tires fall off a cliff right now and that he can keep gaining time. Well, it seems like he got a little loose there coming up off of 4. That was a very, very low exit.
Lost 3 tenths of a second.
Not your traditional exit there.
No, we tend to see
Barnes might be a little quicker, but
yeah, we tend to see Jensen the longer runs. Jensen's really good early on and mid-run, but towards the end, a lot of times we'll see where he's used his stuff up, and you'll see him starting to fight that truck, getting loose off the corner. So far, not too bad, but we've seen it more than once this year from him. Even though he's won 2 races, we've seen him have some struggles late in some of these runs. So let's see if he can hang on right here. Keep Brian Barnes at bay. I mean, 20 seconds is 3/4 of a lap right now plus. So And as I say,
A little bit of a slide there for Jensen.
A little loose off of 4 right there as he comes across the stripe to start lap number 97. Exactly 50 to go.
50 to go this time
Oh, yes,
around.
again, one
Another
more
big
time.
slide there out of Jensen. Lap 97, going to be 50 to go when they come across the stripe. You're starting to see that 64 slip and slide throughout the middle and exits of these corners. He's got a long time to make his decisions. I mean, it is going to take a lot to be able to get around the 64 at this point in the game. However, the last 3 laps, Jacob Jensen has been as fast, if not quicker, than second place Brian Barnes. So kind of nullifying that gain that Brian has made over the last couple of laps. As we look at Wayne Hutchison now, he's fallen 3 seconds off of Brian Barnes. Almost 4 at this point.
So we look at our track map I just put up here so you can see right now where Jacob Jensen going across the stripe right as Brian Barnes coming off of turn number 2. So just a little bit more than half a lap back right now. And even though we saw Jensen there a few times struggling, getting off the corner truck, getting a little bit loose, Brian Barnes not really able to make up much ground on him. Still now within that 20 seconds. He was about 20 to 21 seconds when he got into that second position around Wayne Hutchison. And he's going to hold that spot. Looks like Jacob's coming in. And going to...
Yeah, he's coming in.
Locks it up, coming off a
late. Very late and aggressive entry there, but he's going to get himself into the pits before Brian Barnes does. So he's covering that undercut. So Brian's not going to be able to come out on fresher tires than the 64 and try to gain lap time that way. So that's going to lead Brian to he's going to have to stay out a lap or two and try to offset those tires a little bit.
I don't know if he's got a spotter with him right there telling him that Jacob Jensen's pitted right there. Brian's going to run at least one more lap here.
Hutchison pits. Julian Ritchie as well. So Brian Barnes, the only lead lap driver yet to make a pit stop. You got to believe he's coming in soon.
Yeah, he's got to come in pretty soon. So Hutchison, like you said, Hutchison and Ritchie in. 3 trucks on the lead lap right now. 2 of them in the pits right now. Jensen on his way out. About a 14.5-second stop. So I'm going to guess he probably took 4 tires. Absolutely. He had to have with this many laps left in this race. Let's see if Brian tries to do something. You know, maybe he comes in and tries to take 2.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to work. We've seen 3 seconds worth of fall off on these tires. I just don't see if the left side's been able to hold up if you take 2. Brian Barnes, though, he's got to try something as he's coming in this time. He makes an earlier exit from the racing surface that we saw Jacob Jensen do. We'll see if that's going to be beneficial to him or not.
It looks like
he's coming in to make the pit. Wayne Hutchison comes out. He's going to be about 27 seconds behind Jacob Jensen, but he does have a couple laps fresher tires. Maybe that'll help him keep himself on the lead lap.
So right now we've got David Weaver up there running the top 3 right now. You see John Kenyon right there behind him. John Kenyon on fresh tires. Beltrami on fresh tires. They're going to blow past Weaver here. So Weaver finds himself up in 3rd right now, but he is going to cycle through here. He's still got to come down in the pits at least one more time. I think we'll still see him fall back to about 4th or 5th. Still keeping an eye on John Kenyon right now. Beltrami back out there. How many laps is Bob down at this point? Bob is about, looks like
25.
25 laps down right now.
27 to be exact, I think. Jacob Jensen has taken the race lead back as Brian Barnes comes into the pits. It's going to be a 3-lap difference on those tires, but I can imagine it's going to be about 3 seconds on the racetrack that's different from the gap before the pit stops.
Yeah, so he lost 5 seconds cycling through those pit stops. Like you said, with 20 seconds, now 25. He's only about, about maybe 6 or 7 seconds away from going a lap down.
And how hard do you push now? I mean, I think it's going to be really tough to basically unlap yourself in these final 44 laps throughout the race, but you still can't give up, you know? Jacob Jensen, he's been doing a phenomenal job, honestly, since the race at IRP. We saw a phenomenal race in IRP. Chris, I believe you and I both covered that spin and win out of Butch Davis, but a lot of events happened, and Jacob Jensen and Lyle Swearingen got together on lap 11, racing very hard with each other, and those were arguably two of the best trucks on the racetrack. They got together, took themselves out, kind of opened up a can of worms for the rest of the race, but since then, Jacob Jensen has been phenomenal. He's been in the top 5. He won Iowa. He won Watkins Glen. And right now he sits with a 26-second lead with just over 40 laps to go at one of the toughest racetracks to maneuver in all of NASCAR history. Jacob Jensen doing a phenomenal job here with this early portion of the season, really just taking fire after about race 3 or 4.
Yeah, we take a look here, right? I mean, Jacob's just been on fire here lately, looking really good here today. You know, had early pressure from Bentley Glazier and from Chad Stearns. It looked like it was going to be a good 3-truck race until both Chad. I'm not sure what happened. You know, Bentley got into the fence there, come off the corner, hit that inside wall. And Chad, I don't know, did he just miss the pit and just quit the race?
I think he missed.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what happened. But
I think that's what happened. I hate to, I like to try to play into it and say there's a mechanical failure, but with that one, it did look like he missed the pits and said, all right, I'm not winning.
Yeah, we've seen other things happen. We've seen guys have disconnects at odd times, and I think we actually saw Chad at one race earlier in this year just kind of disconnect. So maybe that's what happened there. But it looked like it was going to be a good 3-truck race between those two. And with Stearns and Bentley Glazier both out of the race, it's just down to Jacob Jensen right now. Brian Barnes doing everything he can to keep pace. And matter of fact, since they came out on these new tires, he's holding pace with him, but just not able to get up there and get any pressure. He really needs a caution right here. And you can see, Barnes actually faster 3 out of the last 4 laps, almost 0.4 of a second faster on that last lap. But, we got about 39 laps to go right now. Making up this amount of ground without some help from a caution flag is going to be tough.
Yeah, it is absolutely looking like it is Jacob Jensen's show, Jacob Jensen's day, maybe even Jacob Jensen's year at this point. He's going to be riding this momentum for quite some time as we move forward towards the end of the calendar year. We've, of course, got some great racing for you here on Tuesday nights. But Jacob Jensen has continued to impress. He, like I said, got out front at Iowa and never looked back. The race at Watkins Glen, he had himself some competition for most of that show. And reminder, that was a caution-free show because of, the road course racing aspect. We can't really do full course cautions. So for Bentley and Chad to be able to stay as close to Jacob for as long as they did, definitely impressive. But Jacob Jensen continues to impress here in season number 53. Race number 8, looking for his 3rd win on the season.
And we look at Jacob right now. He's back up, looking to put on another Beltrami down one more lap. Well, a little loose off of 4 right there. Nice job saving the truck as he's trying to get around Beltrami here. Put him one more lap down, as I said. And right in front of that is Wayne Hutchison, your 3rd place truck. So right now it looks like Jensen looking to put Hutchison a lap down. If he can get around Beltrami right here, it looks down to the inside. I think Bob kind of gave way right there. So Jensen just on a blistering pace right now, getting ready to put a lap on our 3rd place truck of Wayne Hutchison. So we didn't really get a chance to talk about it earlier, Liam. But coming into the night, the point standings, Brian Barnes and Wayne Hutchison tied for the points, currently both running 2nd and 3rd right now. So I would assume Brian's going to come out with a point lead if they finish the way they are. Jensen was back in 4th, only 7 points back. So we might have a 3-way tie when we get out of here. We get out of here at Darlington, and I'm pausing because I was going to say where we were going to head to, but I don't remember, so I'm trying to look it up as I talk. Oh, we're off next week for Labor Day, and then we come back on the 9th of September to race at Bristol. So we might have a 3-way lead here for the points heading to Bristol.
And Bristol is going to be absolutely amazing with these guys. I've seen them run a couple of races there, and I tell you what, man, they can go either way. We've seen some wreckfests. We've seen some completely clean races. I say it week in and week out, but this is one of the best leagues that you could tune into, because I mean, maybe you're thinking right now, these guys are so spread out, man. This race, this potentially boring or something like that, but just goes to show the talent level that these drivers have, and to be able to beat. Well, I mean, I'm looking at practice and qualifying numbers from Jacob Jensen, to be able to be under 30 seconds in practice, qualify on the pole, get out to a 25-second lead after only one caution in a Darlington race. This is absolutely phenomenal for Jacob Jensen. Brian Barnes and Wayne Hutchison showing a great job of just holding on to it in a race that really hasn't gone their way. Well, I shouldn't phrase it like that, but in a race that hasn't gone their way, they're able to get the podium out of it right now. And while we're approaching 31 laps to go when Jacob Jensen crosses the start-finish line. He's got 24 seconds on second place, 31 on third, as you can see just out of the windshield. That is third place on the racetrack out of the front view of your race leader.
Yeah, and right up the road is the second place truck of Brian Barnes, only about a straightaway ahead right now. Wayne about 6 seconds back of Brian Barnes. You know, maybe this pressure from Jensen back here behind him might light a fire under Wayne Hutchison, and maybe he has a chance to run down Barnes here. We've got 31 laps left to go. Season 53, week number 8 here for the WSRL, the Western States Racing League. This league has been around for 25 plus years, started way back in the day on NASCAR 2. I was back racing those days myself, but been around for a long time, put on a good show. Bob Beltrami been running this league for a long time. Unfortunately, just not had a very good day for himself here. Back in 13th, quite a few laps down. As we sit here with Jacob Jensen, I'm just kind of riding around with him here, so just like I'm just pretending like I'm driving, like, you know, like the little kids with a little plastic steering wheel, you know.
Oh yeah, it's almost like when your older brother would give you a controller and tell you you're playing.
Yeah, exactly. Really. Well, I got my wheel in front of me, so I can just, like, you know, I can sit here and turn my wheel like I'm really driving.
But nobody is driving as well as Jacob Jensen here in Darlington. Wayne Hutchison just in front of him, trying to hold on to that lead lap status. They've been running about equal lap times.
And I don't know if you guys out there know this, but at SRM we call Liam Mr. Segway. Just another great one right there. So we are, let's see here. So SRM, Sim Racing Media, well, so happy you guys are all here with us tonight. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the button, give us a like, wave a little bit, let the bosses know we're doing a good job. We're down to we started 18 trucks here. We're down to 13, but only 3 trucks on the lead lap, and that's about to be 2 if Jacob Jensen keeps up with this pace. He's running right now. He's right there behind Wade Hutchison, our third place truck.
Yeah, but with 28 laps to go, 27 when the leader crosses the line, it's going to be tough.
You know, we had one caution way back. When was that?
I believe the caution came out on lap 8, went back to green at lap 11.
One caution in this race, and it's not from our share of not a right way to say that. I don't know. It's not for the share of having some incidences here and there, but just not enough to race control to throw a caution.
Not due to a lack of action on the racetrack.
There we go.
It is kind of something that we see. It's susceptible at Darlington and Michigan and a couple of other tracks with a lot of inside runoff. But anytime an incident happens at a position that's deemed off of the racing surface, iRacing doesn't call a caution. They don't, their standard deal doesn't consider that an actual incident. So,
yeah, Brian Barnes.
More often than not, we've got a race control guy that'll kind of take care of that. But we've seen some guys spin down to the inside. We've seen some things that maybe could have brought out a caution. But in terms of drivers getting all the way spun out, I think it's just Andrew Schulte on lap 1 and Earl Weaver on lap number 8.
Got Barry Phil diving down in the pits. Right now running in 9th. A good run for Barry. Got himself in position for a top 10 finish. He's struggled a couple of these races here in the middle of the season, but good run here for Barry, hanging on here at Darlington. Might come on with a top 10 here As we take a look here at Brian Barnes, he just got himself around Julian Reaches. We see Barry Phil coming out of the pits down on the bottom. Wayne Fleet right there in front of him. And Brian Barnes catches the wall coming off a 2 down that Boeing backstretch. In that 15 truck, he's usually number 4, but running through 3 and 4 right now. Doing a good job hanging on to second, but he's still 25 seconds back off the leader. He's maintained that pace since our last pit stops back on lap about 100. He has stayed within about a 25-second gap of the leader, Jacob Jensen. So good run there for Brian. He was on the podium last week. Back-to-back podiums for Brian about to happen if he can just stay where he's at.
Jacob Jensen has been absolutely phenomenal this season. He started at Texas with a 3rd place finish, Dover 7th. 17th at Dover and 17th at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Finished 7th in Texas to debut the season, but after that, it's been first, 2nd, and 9th place at Daytona, looking like a 1st place here. So that's going to make 4 podium finishes in the last 5 races for Jacob Jensen if he can hold on here for this last 22 laps at the Lady in Black.
Got Earl Weaver there right behind him. Earl came in and pitted about 7 laps later, so got a little bit fresher tires on it, but I wouldn't think it'd be enough for him to get past there. So we'll jump up here, take a look again at Brian Barnes one more time, as he has now dropped back another second off of Jensen. So we are at lap 127, 21 laps left to go. 3 trucks left on the lead lap right now. And actually, it looks like maybe Hutchinson's got away from Jensen a little bit. When we looked at this earlier, he was about 6 seconds to Brian Barnes. He's closed that down now to about 4.2.
Yeah, it seems like Wayne Hutchison he's just putting down equal lap times with the leader. Brian Barnes has seen some fluctuation with his lap times. He's starting to fall off of the leader a little bit more and more each lap around. It's not impossible to think that this 17 could take away the 2nd position from Brian Barnes, but we've still got 20 laps to go. 19 when the leader crosses the stripe.
Look back there, give everybody left on the racetrack just a quick little screen timer. We'll scroll through the field. So our leader right there, do this little cycle through. Jacob Jensen started on the pole, has led 20. What's he led of this race? I'm showing 28. That's not right, is it? I think my software is shut down. Led most of the laps in this race. 28's not it. Out in front, Brian Barnes right now in 2nd, right there with Barry Phil right there behind him. Barry running in 9th, looking for a top 10 finish on fresher tires. You can see Brian Barnes just gets out of the way, lets Barry go by. He's not racing him for position. No point in taking any chances. Wayne Hutchison in 3rd in that 17 truck. Wayne and Brian both tied for the point lead right now, so we'll be interesting to see how that shakes out when we get out of here. Up in front of him, that 4th place truck of Julian Ricci. Started back in 11th, now up into 4th. Right there behind him, the 6th truck of Wayne Fleet. And we'll jump back to 5th right now. It's going to be John Kenyon and then 88 TMC Ford. I started to say Chevrolet. Here's a Ford.
A little confusing with that JRM paint scheme on a Ford. But...
yeah, exactly. The 16 truck of David Weaver. You know, this might be one of David's best runs of the year as well. He started in 8th here today, up to 6th. Right there behind him, Earl Weaver in the 46 Tasty Cake truck. The 04 of Dustin Burns also still out there on the racetrack. Barry Phils we saw a little bit earlier back in 9th. Wayne Fleet we saw in 10th. Scott Kukas in 11th. Back off the pace. Quite a few laps down, spent some time in the pits. Back in 12th is Bob Beltrami in the 14th, Beltrami Salami. And then it looks like Bob Beltrami might be the last truck left on the racetrack, so we're down to 12. Does it look like James Campbell may have retired? So we'll look back up here at the front. Jacob Jensen with about a little more than a 25-second lead, 16 laps left to go. Brian Barnes, Wayne Hudson, your top 3.
Your official retirees from the race is Bentley Glazer, Chad Stearns, Dalton Elkins, Daryl Scott, Andrew Schulte, and James Campbell have all retired. Ron Holyfield And Vincent Price did not take the start. And Chad Simpson, he's going to show up as a finisher, but he was race control here for at least the beginning of the race. I believe he had some other things to do, as now Wayne Fleet goes down to the inside of Julian Ritchie. Not for position, but getting the track position there in a close moment.
I saw somebody get sideways down to the bottom of the racetrack. I was trying to figure out who it was. I think it was Dustin Burns. Yeah, everybody just kind of not really. A lot of these guys not racing for position. Oh, it's Jensen right there, loose off the corner, coming off of turn 2 down that back straightaway. He's only got about, what, 35 laps on those tires, 34 laps on those tires, but I think he just...
Oh, that is a long time on tires here, bud.
I think he just, well, I think maybe he just got a little complacent right there. I think he's gathered his thoughts, gathered his composure, I guess is the right word to say, because he looked pretty good there off a 4 down the front straightaway. But as I said, he gets loose into one, so Jensen fighting his truck now. But still,
yeah, but
Martin's not making up any ground either.
He's still in a spot where he, as first place, can see second place in front of him. So as long as that visual is still there, he is going to be comfortable for these last 12 laps here as Jacob Jensen crosses the start-finish line. 12 laps to go. 26 seconds is the gap between first and second. An absolute masterclass put on by the 64 machine here today, looking for his 3rd win on the season, 3rd win in the last 5 races, and fourth podium in the last 5 races. This has been an exceptional run here out of the 64, and I hate to, I keep bringing up real-world comparisons to stuff, but Alex Palou, man, you couldn't stop that guy this year. Jacob Jensen, it's early on in the season, and it's a different type of dominance. But Jacob Jensen is showing that if he gets out front, good luck.
Did we just compare Jacob Jensen to Alex Palou?
For this season, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting here watching Jacob right now, and like you said, a real world comparison. If that was a real truck right now, I think he'd had maybe some tire pressure going out of that right rear. As he's just getting looser and looser all the way. He's got 10 laps left to go fighting this truck, but I think Brian Barnes may be having the same struggle because Brian's actually lost a second over the last few laps. We'll see if Jacob can hold on there.
It's almost 27 seconds at this point. You see Wayne Hutchison down the back straightaway. While he has increased the gap distance-wise a little bit, the lap times have slowed down so much that Jacob Jensen has actually closed in on the time distance.
Yeah, about 32 seconds. We were watching times earlier. We saw a couple laps in the 29s, mostly down in the 30s. So we're about 2 to 3 seconds off that pace right now. 32.3 was the last lap for Jacob Jensen out there in front, but a 32.9 for Brian Barnes. So actually the fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap was actually Barry Phil. Back here in 8th, running in the 31s. The only truck on the racetrack right now in 31s, but he does have fresher tires on, so. Looks like John Kenyon made a late stop there back on lap 133. So we got 8 laps left to go out of the 147. Still Jacob Jensen, Brian Barnes, Wayne Hutchison. I did Brain and Brian Barnes. Yeah, so Wayne Hutchison in 3rd. In the 17 truck, Julian Ricci, David Weaver looking to bring home a top 5 finish here. Our top 5 right now here at Darlington for the Western States Racing League season 53.
That would be David's best finish on the season. Like you mentioned, he's got a best finish of 7th so far, so a top 5 would be a season record for him. So great job for him. And as you mentioned, Brian Barnes and Wayne Hutchison came into this race leading the points, tied. There's going to be a 1 position difference between the two of them, but Jacob Jensen came into this race in 4th place, just 7 points behind. Like you talked about, this really could be interesting as we move into race number 9 in just a few weeks. We've got ourselves a couple of drop weeks to worry about still. We're very early in the season, so all of these guys up front, they've showed up for 7 races. 7 races have been counted. There's still a chance for things to change with drop weeks. Everybody gets to get rid of their 3 worst finishes. But Jacob Jensen right now is showing that he doesn't want to have bad finishes. He doesn't want anything from race 3 on out.
5 laps left to go. I thought we'd take a second, get another good look at this Peace and Love Chevrolet of Scott Kukas. Big smiley, big happy face on the back of that truck, and you can see he's fighting the looseness of as well off the corner there. Seems to be a common theme right now.
And Scott Kukas, another driver who right now is sitting in his best finishing position of the season, sitting in 11th. Currently, his best finish on the season was Watkins Glen, finished 12th. So a good day for Scott Kukas. I know we don't often talk about him having good days, as Wayne Fleet comes into the pits.
I'm not sure what this is.
But a really good job by Scott Kukas to make it to the end of this one and continue to get better. And that's what it's about. I mean, obviously we're going to see guys like Jacob Jensen, Wayne Hutchison, those guys up at the front of the field, but it takes time, it takes practice to be able to get yourself up there, and that's what Scott's doing for himself.
Yeah, just sometimes you just gotta stay out there and just take what you can get, right? I'm never a proponent of people that we in the gaming world we call it rage quitting, right? And you won't see me rage quit just about anything. I'm gonna stay out there as long as I can, try to get the best finish that I can, whatever game I'm playing, if I'm racing or even playing Battlefield or whatever, right? So.
Dude, if I throw 1 pick on college football, I'm quitting. So props to you there.
Yeah, you just got to stay with it, man. And you see, it's going to pay off here for Scott Kukas. It's going to pay off for Barry Phil, David Weaver, all looking to have their best finishes of the season out here and just staying with it. We started with 18 trucks. We're down to, about 12 on the racetrack right now with Bob Beltrami. Quite a few laps down there in 12th. As we got 2 laps left to go right now. Jacob Jensen, Brian Barnes, Wayne Hutchison, the only 3 trucks on the lead lap. And Jensen's right there behind Hutchison. I think he's going to not really put any more pressure on him. 1 lap left to go for Jacob Jensen.
No pressure is going to come from Jacob Jensen. He can see second. He can see third just in front of him. 26 seconds is the gap between first and second. Jacob Jensen, like I said, after IRP, has been on an absolute tear. These abrasive racetracks have worked well for him, and this is the toughest one of them all. Coming up off of turn number 4, the checkered flag is in the air. Jacob Jensen gets it done at the Lady in Black.
Brian Barnes, we'll jump over to Brian Barnes now. Coming off of turn 2 down the back straight, our second place truck. Going to head down into turn 3. That's just how big of a lead Jacob Jensen had. Brian Barnes in that 15, coming off of turn number 4. Looking to come home in second. Going to be his second. It was third last week at Daytona. Going to back that up with a second place finish here at Darlington. Brian Barnes going to cross the line there in second. Coming off of turn number 4 right now, we got David Weaver, the lap truck there in 5th, and right there behind him is Wayne Hutchison, our third place truck.
Julian Ritchie already finishing the race. David Weaver rounding out the top 5. Earl Weaver in 6th place. John Kenyon up in 7th. Barry Phil, Dustin Burns, and Wayne Fleet round out the top 10. And now Jacob Jensen burns it down until Dustin Burns says no.
Denied the burnout there by Dustin Burns.
Oh, he's still got engine power. He's still gonna do it. Jacob Jensen burns it down the front straightaway. The cookout start-finish line here at Darlington Raceway. Phenomenal job out of Jacob Jensen. He took the lead on the second start, the first restart of the race, and never looked back. Very reminiscent to what we saw him do off the start at Iowa. Jacob Jensen in the 64 really tried to show that he is going to be a championship contender this year. We'll see just a few minutes if we can get with Jacob. Obviously, we've got second place Brian Barnes and Wayne Hutchison to also get to. Can't wait to talk to these folks after such a tough race here. And Chris, you got to assume this was mentally taxing for everyone who showed up to this race, whether they finished or not.
Yeah, 147 laps here at Darlington is bad enough, but when you do it mostly under green, at first we only had one caution tonight, way back on lap number 8. So they basically ran about 137 laps under green flag once we went back from that caution flag. And you can see some of the guys made a few mistakes here and there, just kind of a little bit of mental lapse. You got to kind of assume, right? I'm just making assumptions, but some guys falling out early, making mistakes, falling back through the field. But Jacob, Brian, and Wayne, top 3 right now, just kind of all kept it together. I think everybody on the racetrack made some mistakes somewhere, but just they didn't make anything a big enough mistake that it cost them finishing the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some big mistakes out of some drivers. We saw Bentley Glazer get up into the wall. We saw Bob Beltrami with some toe damage. And then, of course, we saw Andrew Schulte smack the wall pretty good as he was trying to chase down the race leaders. Mistakes were easy to make here, as they always are. But Jacob Jensen got it done once again, and I believe we've got Jacob joining the booth here. Jacob, it's Liam and Chris up in the booth for the 3rd time this season. We're talking to you in Victory Lane. What does it mean for you and your team to be able to get to Victory Lane 3 times in just 8 races?
Oh, it means a lot. I know that this entire Cappy Performance team, we're dedicated to winning. Last week wasn't our best week, I'll admit that. The incident getting on a pit road wasn't great, but such a strong comeback this week, and we're super proud.
Well, we talked about it a little bit during the show. We talked about your incident at Lucas Oil Raceway Park with Lyle. But since then, you have had now 4 podiums in 5 races. Was there anything to do with that lit a fire up under you, or is it just kind of coincidence that you've been so strong lately?
Well, I think that we were always kind of this strong. It's just that we had some bad runs, some bad pit calls, and we kind of finally figured that out. Some incidents, of course, and we kind of all figured that out, and now we're just lighting the world on fire, apparently.
You really are. You come first at Iowa from the pole, first at Watkins Glen from the pole, second at Richmond from second place. What is it about these abrasive racetracks that make you so good at tire saving?
Well, I come from a lot of dirt racing, so being able to use traction control, which is just your foot, is something that I'm really good at, and a lot of people apparently aren't as good at. And yeah, it's just trying to keep tires under you, and I'm decent at that.
Well, Jacob, you did more than a decent job here tonight at keeping the tires under you. You win the race by 25.3 seconds. Who helps you get it done? Who puts rocket fuel in that fuel cell? And I mean, who do you want to shout out for such a strong run, both in this race and over the last month?
Well, I really want to thank the good Lord. None of this would be possible without him. I want to thank my dad, even though he had a pretty bad week last week. I want to thank my mom, my Uncle Leonard, my brother, all the friends that support me. And I want to thank Bob and you guys for putting the show on.
Awesome stuff, Jacob. Thank you. And before we let you go, 3 wins in 5 races. What's your champion statement sound like? Or championship statement?
Well, it's looking a lot better, but I'm still competing with really fast guys like Bentley Glazer and Chad Stearns. So it ain't over till it's over.
Awesome stuff, Jacob. Congratulations on the win at the Lady in Black, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Have a nice week.
That was Jacob Jensen, your race winner. We should have second place, Brian Barnes. Just 1 second here. Chris, I think you got Brian.
Brian, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
Hey, two times in 1 week. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, last week on the podium there at Daytona, coming home in third, second tonight. A little bit early on, it looked like it was going to come down to Jacob Bentley and Chad Stearns. It looked like you might not have the podium. It looked like it might have been tough to get early on, but you persevered, stayed out there. Did you think you were going to stay up there in the top 3, come home in second tonight?
No, actually, I didn't know what happened to those guys, and I was thinking, well, this is going to be a snore for you guys in the booth, but apparently you had something to talk about, huh?
Well, we tried to find everything we possibly could. Thanks for keeping it close there with Wayne Hutchison there for a while. Gave us a race to watch, as Jacob just kind of stunk up the show and just got away from you guys. But we came in tonight really expecting to not go caution free like this. Did you really think we were gonna run that many green flag laps at Darlington?
Usually not, but we didn't have enough people really to have the problem. So I kind of figured it was going to go green after the. I was a little surprised at the first caution, but yeah, it looked like a Darlington results page. That's for sure.
Well, you came into the week tied in points with Wayne Hutchison. It might be pretty close coming out of this between you, Wayne, and Jacob Jensen here. You have enough momentum, you think, to stay in this championship fight throughout the rest of the season?
I'm going to give it all I got. I'm getting a little old at this thing, but I still can hang in there every once in a while on the tricky tracks. It's the cookie cutters that the kids get away from me on.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you with the old stuff, Brian. I've been around for a long time myself, but I'm good to see another my buddy Oregon native running well here. So we got next week off, I think, and we come back for Bristol. How you feel about Bristol when we come back in 2 weeks?
That one's tough on the old body, but I always tend to run halfway decent there. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely got to congratulate Julian and David Weaver on tonight's run. Those two boys did pretty good too.
Yeah, David looked like the best finish he's had all season with a 6th. John Kenyon also coming home in the top 5. A lot of guys tonight with their best finish on the season. Earl Weaver in 7th, Barry Phil in 8th. So yeah, just a good run by a lot of guys here tonight. Some of the top drivers had some struggles early, so gave a chance for some guys to get up there towards the front that haven't seen their front a lot this season. So, hey man, before we get you out of here, you got anybody you'd like to thank?
Nah, no, just just been doing this a lot of years just for fun, man, and that's what keeps me coming back. Thanks you guys for broadcasting, and have a good night, man.
Well, thanks, Brian. We're gonna look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks at Bristol. You have a good Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you then.
All right, have a good one.
That was Brian Barnes, our second place finisher. We're not going to be able to get our third place Wayne Hutchison, but we've got a surprise interview with Julian Ritchie, our fourth place finisher, coming out here. Julian, how was your race today? Not sure if you're responding, but there is no audio.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Yeah, we got you now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I accidentally had push to talk on for some reason. Anyways, I had a really good race. I finished 4th. Darlington used to be not one of my stronger tracks, but with practice and coming back here over again, I got faster and faster as the night went along, and I ended up 4th.
Well, yeah, and it was a long green flag run. Obviously, we got that only caution on lap 8. And from there on out, you just kind of started picking guys off slowly but surely. You wound up 7 spots up ahead of where you started today. What does it take to get a pass done here at one of the most narrow racing surfaces that these trucks go to?
Well, I think the key is about getting off the turns right. I think I find it easier to make the pass off of 2 if the guy is on the high side. I can use the slope to gain speed down the backstretch and make the pass. It's kind of hard to pass in the corners, but getting the momentum off the corners into the straightaways, I think I find easiest to pass. But still, gaining all those spots felt good. Getting faster every week. That's why I joined WSRL in the first place, because I knew I was racing with guys with a lot of experience that I could learn from, and I see it's paying off.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these guys have 53 seasons of experience across numerous different platforms, but this is one of the toughest tracks in the game, and you come home in 4th place. I know being lapped probably isn't the greatest part, but still, you were able to come home with the top 5 in one of the most dominating performances we've seen out of a driver. What does it take to finish here? I mean, what was kind of your focus?
Keeping myself off the wall and not getting into other guys and just running. I mean, when you're that far down, I mean, look, let's be real here. The top three were in a league of their own. So I was just focusing on running my own race and not getting in my own way, keeping myself off the wall. I did hit the wall a little bit with like 20 to go, so I was just trying to nurse it back home. But so far, I had a really great race.
Julian, even though you got that Darlington stripe, you still come home in fourth. Who helps you get it done on that McConey setup shop Chevy Silverado? We see you week in and week out, but who helps you get it done?
Marconi setups. I like watching their videos, and I like using the fixed setups. I look at what they do. I kind of go off that, see what works best for me. I watch the videos and I study very closely before every race, just to make sure I got the lines down. And I always make sure to come into practice early to make sure I at least know what I'm racing against, because even your starting position can play a big role in how far you have to climb up. Because these green flag runs, if there's not a lot of cautions, everyone's going to get strung out and you'll have to find yourself climbing back up or having to defend your position if you start up front. But you know what? We had a great race and, can't complain.
Well, awesome stuff, Julian. We appreciate you joining us here. Fourth place finisher on the day. Any closing statements maybe for this championship as we approach the halfway point?
Well, I mean, I'm just really happy to finally get my first WSRL interview, even though it wasn't a podium. Still, just getting the interview, it shows that you've done something right. I've been in this league for a while. I'm fifth in points right now. I'm having my best season on record, and I just feel like I'm getting stronger every week. And I would love to see a win come sometime.
Awesome stuff, Julian. We've been watching you for a while. We're glad to talk to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon in the next coming weeks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the interview, and see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Well, so we got first, second, and fourth. Wayne Hutchison.
Wayne just didn't want to talk to us, I guess.
It seems like a common thread. I don't know if he's on Discord, which is A-okay.
Yeah.
But Wayne, if you are watching, if you are going back and watching any of these and sticking around to the end, we'd love to hear from you.
All right.
Phenomenal driver and just a little bit distant of an interview, but
there we go.
That's okay.
All right, we're going to go back to the race results. Just another great racer, Liam, here with the WSRL. Jacob Jensen coming home with the win. 25 seconds back to Brian Barnes. Brian Barnes in second. Wayne Hutchison going to come home in third. Julian Ricci, as we just talked to, in fourth. David Weaver with his best finish on the season, as we said, in fifth. And I think that sixth might be Earl Weaver's best finish as well. John Kenyon back in seventh. Barry Phil eighth. Dustin Burns ninth. And Wayne Fleet going to round out the top 10 there, Liam.
Yeah, after that we got Scott Kukas, Bob Beltrami, and then everybody who unfortunately didn't finish the race with James Campbell, Andrew Schulte, and Dalton Elkins in the top 15. Then we got Chad Stearns, Bentley Glazer, and Daryl Scott rounding out the field. Ron Holyfield and Vincent Price did not take the start. Chad Simpson took his usual spot as race control for as long as he could. I think he had to leave for a reason.
Yeah.
Outside of that, man, this was a phenomenal show here at Darlington, and even though it went a long time green flag, and we saw a huge, dominating victory out of Jacob Jensen, the fact that these guys were able to run 147 laps with 18 starters and only have one caution, just once again shows the talent and the competition that the Western States Racing League is able to put on week in and week out.
Yeah, I didn't realize earlier till we were just talking that we're off next week, but another great race. Like you said, WSRL puts on a good show, good quality drivers here. Had a few struggle tonight, had a few drop out. I didn't expect to only finish with about 12 or 13 trucks left on the racetrack, but so we're going to be back in 2 weeks with the week number 9. We're off for Labor Day, so if you have some plans for the Labor Day weekend, have fun with that. Be safe out there. But we'll be back in 2 weeks with WSRL at Bristol. My name is Chris Murphy. My good buddy there, Liam Ervig. We are going to check out for the evening. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next time.
And as you guys walk through the streets of life, please don't play in traffic. Rest in peace, Tony. We love you.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you again.